Chelsea, could you please step out so that Mom can explain to everyone how to do a lace inlay? Please, Chelsea. So, hello everyone and welcome to this video dedicated to lace inlay. So, I'm going to show you 3 different types of lace inlay. A simple straight lace, but sturdier than the previous one. You'll see. So, if you have fabrics that fray a lot, I recommend using this second method. And one last lace inlay. When you have notches that you really want to respect, the screen of your lace, the design of your lace, it all really depends on your final goal. So, the first lace inlay is quite simple. You have, let's say, your garment edge, this square. I use nylon. It's a sturdy material that doesn't fray, that we often find in lingerie. You have your lace and you want the edge to be lace, so you're going to position your lace. In this way, obviously, you may have drawn a straight line to help you. I don't need that because I use the edge of the garment as my guide. Anyway, what I'm going to show you is mainly the stitch that you really need to pay attention to. It's not complicated, so you really need to avoid pulling on your fabrics or holding them too tightly. When you pin, you really keep your fabric flat and your lace flat, and you don't mess around by lifting your lace like this. Pinning it like that is the best way to end up with something that's not precise at all. So, we don't lift the fabric, we keep it lying flat and just pin it. With fine pins, you take a bit of fabric regularly. There's no need to do rough pinning. Also, I sometimes see people who pin... I'll take this opportunity to say it. One shot like this, one shot like that, one shot like this. So, that's not going to work. When we pin, we are consistent. We are precise, and we pin in an aesthetic way. That's also part of the job. It's that we don't just do anything. With these pins obviously in the direction of the sewing, so that you can remove your pins when you get under the machine, so they don't get in the way. The head comes close to the presser foot. Alright, so now we're going to do 2 pretty simple things. First, a straight stitch at the level of your pins, then on top of that, a fine zigzag stitch that will go over your straight stitch. There you go, it's sturdier. Let's say we'll first do a straight stitch, then a zigzag stitch on top. So, let's get started at the machine. There you go, I've done a straight stitch. Now I can do a zigzag. Stitch on top, adjusting it, of course. The stitches should be a small zigzag stitch, quite tight. About 2 mm will be enough. Okay, so the zigzag stitch is done. Now all you have to do is take your scissors and trim away the excess fabric. I, of course, left a lot for the demonstration, but you don't have to leave that much. Trim well at the edge, being careful not to cut the lace or your thread. Your first lace inlay is done. Of course, you'll need to iron it well to avoid any creases. I'm going to show you that right after. Really, it's still magnificent. Now I'm going to show you the same thing. But it's also sturdier. Why more sturdy? Because nylon is a material that doesn't fray and is relatively strong. But you can very well have materials like silk that fray. So, as soon as you pull a bit, it will be much less sturdy. So I'm going to show you another alternative. Almost the same thing, but with a small detail that changes everything in terms of sturdiness. So, just like the first time, I've done my first straight stitch. So that doesn't change. What will change now is that, there you go, the straight stitch has been done. And the difference is that instead of doing your zigzag stitch on top, you will first fold your thickness, you will fold the excess over, and you will do your zigzag stitch here, capturing the fold. I hope you understand well. You fold the excess fabric outward. Here, we're on the wrong side, of course. You make your straight stitch here at the fold and then you trim. And there you have something very sturdy. There you go, now you have your second lace inlay. Of course I used a pink thread. The best thing to do is to use thread that matches the color of your lace, so it blends in as much as possible. I'll show you what it looks like. I'm also going to iron all of this gently to avoid any little creases. It still looks beautiful. So you have something that is really very incredibly extremely sturdy, a lace inlay that will really last over a long period of time and won't tear and is durable. Chelsea, could you please step out so that Mom can explain to everyone how to do a lace inlay? Please, Chelsea. And for the last lace inlay, this time in a different shape. So you're going to gently pin your lace. Always be careful to avoid any misalignments so it doesn't create wrinkles or fabric shifts. Then always keep your material flat and gently pin it about every 2 cm. There you go, since this is a curve. Don't hesitate to use a few more pins if needed to make sure we really follow the design. Alright, so we're going to go under the machine and we're going to make a straight stitch following the curves. Of course, always 1 meter from the lace. There's no point in stitching too close to the edge, really. It wouldn't look nice at all. You always need to make sure your lace inlay is done well, with your stitch about 2 millimeters from the edge. It's much prettier. So here we go, we're heading to the machine. There you go, you've made your first straight stitch, your flat seam on the machine. So as you can see, it's a long process. You really have to focus. Take your time, put on some music in your ears, there you go. But don't hesitate to stop, to turn the presser foot. And yes, it's something a bit lengthy. Let me show you what it looks like on the back, there you go. Your lace design on which you can now do your zigzag stitch. You can even do it on the back side if you can see your stitch better than on the front. So let's get started now with the little zigzag stitch and we'll trim it later, just like last time. There you go, the zigzag stitch is done. It blends very well with the lace. Let me show you what it looks like on the back. So you can see my zigzag stitch that I made over my straight stitch, and now I can carefully trim it. There you go, I've trimmed it with my scissors. I think this is my favorite part, where really the inlay comes to life, and now only the lace stands out. I'm going to put this on my skin. And who creates such a sublime detail of playfulness, of transparency between the lace, your fabric, your skin? It's just a beautiful and refined finish. I'm going to go iron all of this and I'll show you the results. Iron the lace inlay assessment. There you go. I've ironed my lace and my fabric well. I put it on the mannequin, I hung it up. So you can really see the result. It's just sublime. This is the simple inlay with a straight line, where we first do a flat stitch, then a zigzag stitch for more strength. Here, it's simply the stronger straight inlay, where we first do a flat stitch, then we fold the excess before making the picot. So there you go, it's really just beautiful. There you go, and here I've pinned the lace inlay in shape. You can see that this can definitely be used for a neckline, for example, if you want to learn more about lingerie sewing. I invite you to visit the Boudoir Français website, which is in the description, and you have courses and training available, complete on lingerie making,